Journal entry 54. This is the end. She finally proved it to me beyond the slightest shade of doubt, that she does not care for me the slightest. And how did I respond? I did the only sensible thing that I could do. I resigned from the Ashen chapter of the Vigil. It started in Frostgorge, or started is the wrong word. It has been going on for so long now that I cannot even remember when it began. She took Fredrickson from me, and I let her. She forced me against my will to join on an easy mission, one that a simple squad could have done without any effort whatsoever. When we came back to camp, he was gone. Transported to Holbrack, she said. But like a good soldier, I stayed. I should have run after him, to take him back to Krita immediately. But I forsook him, just to stay with the chapter where everyone despised me. Oh, the fool I was. It now feels like a veil has lifted before my eyes, and I can see clearly for the first time. It is an exhilarating feeling, I have to admit. Fredrickson would wait for me in Holbrack, they said. So we marched south to another line guard fort, spent some days there. Mist never even once looked at me, not even when I saluted her as tactician. Was I so worthless to her that I was not even worthy of a look from her eyes? But I proved myself to be the better of us. I kept treating her with respect, despite her disrespect towards me. Maybe I have not been the friendliest, but I always treated people with the respect they deserved. Other than this, nothing of interest happened, so I will leave it outside of this journal. After a few days, we assaulted another Svanir stronghold. It was a success, at least for the chapter. I took an arrow to the shoulder. Lyssa was by my side that day, for the arrow did not strike the joint, but a little lower. Vela was apparently doing the surgery under the watchful eyes of Mixi, or so I am told. I went out cold after I had drunk some potion she gave me. I woke up the day after, with a headache like after the yearly prom in Divinity's Reach, and almost as sick as then as well. It took some hours and some pain relievers before my head was all right. But the better my head got, the more I got reminded of the shoulder. It ached constantly, sometimes so much that I could not think of anything else. Mist lined up the chapter and told us we were moving south again, to another fort. So I went into my tent and started to pack my bags, using only my right hand. I will never take my left hand for granted again. It took an eternity, or maybe two. No one helped me. No one even asked. Proved to me how many friends I had there. But I shall not dwell upon the past. The future lies ahead of me, without the Vigil, without Fredrickson. The following day, Mist lined us up again and told us we would march into Holbrack before starting our 4 days leave. Then she promoted Thundermane, Karaz and Miramel to Crusader. I guess they earned it somehow. Made me think about why I had to spend 4 months as a recruit, but that is history now. Then she called up Calder, and she promoted him to knight. I was not the slightest surprised. I had seen it coming from miles away. The Crusader who has a shady past as a member of the Flame Legion, someone that would trade all of us to save one Char, the one who had part in Vethrir's death without the slightest punishment whatsoever, one who goes out of camp to assassinate some other Char like a simple criminal. That is the one Mist chose over me. I made up my mind right then and there. I would not return after the leave. The march to Holbrack went without any events. I was silent the whole time. I guess people around me felt it would be unwise to disturb me. When I was a kid, people said that I had the shadow and chill of Grenth around me. Maybe this was the same. In Holbrack we lined up, and some whisper agents began to talk about our warmaster, Alicia. They thought she was alive and captured by some remains of the Toxic Alliance, and wanted volunteers for a rescue operation. I felt a sting of obligation to go there to get her free, but it soon disappeared, and when they told the volunteers to gather up behind them, I remained where I stood. Mist dismissed me, and I went to write my letter of resignation from the Ashen chapter. When it was done, the chapter was nowhere to be found, so I had to ask the Wolf brothers until I found out they had taken the Azura Gate to Lion's Arch. Running with my left arm in a sling is not so easy, and I had to take several breaks, but eventually I caught up with the chapter. I found Mist and gave her the letter, said some words to her, and then I turned around to walk away, and right in front of me stood that Norn bitch car something. I almost told Mist to arrest her on the spot, but remembered that I had just resigned, so instead I walked away. Sooner or later she will get what is coming for her. I changed into my family's honorary armor. Maybe it would keep some bandits away, or at least protect me against their daggers. Then I handed in all of my armors, my training weapons, my longbow and all of my other gear that I had been issued while in the chapter, together with my Vigil badge. Finally, I walked out of Vigil Keep for the last time. I felt strangely light at heart walking the road back to Lion's Arch. It was a feeling of freedom. No one would tell me what to do. I was in Kryta. I was home. Then I remembered Fredrickson. It was the first time I was completely alone, and the realization struck me like lightning. No one was by my side to protect me, and I had no weapon, nothing to defend myself with. At that point I started to see bandits everywhere, and I almost started running. The Azura Gate to Divinity's Reach cost me a fortune, now that I did not have the Vigil badge anymore, but I did not care. All I wanted was to get back home. Divinity's Reach was almost like I remembered it, except that the Queen had opened the Crown Pavilion again. I might go there later to watch some of the games, but today I have been taking a long bath, got my shoulder checked, got a haircut and a shave, bought new clothes and got reacquainted with the city again, and oh how I have missed it. The Shiver Peaks was beautiful in its own way, but it does not stand up to Divinity's Reach. What will I do now? First, I need to arrange the transport of Fredrickson from Hobrak to Divinity's Reach somehow, and then bury him. After that, I do not know. But I do know that my time in the Vigil is over. It has finally come to an end. But with every end, something new begins. Sincerely, Wulopin Ivoryheart, former First Crusader of the Ashen chapter of the Vigil.